Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying, Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win.
You know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and they should be. And they should equal.
Apparently, the only thing more offensive to a modern-day leftist than the term "all lives matter" is actually saying, "I want people to stop dying." And if you have any question remaining just how much the liberal brain has receded, look no further than our good buddy Morning Joe.
The message that she is getting right now from little Mike Johnson and Donald Trump, it's just devastating. And the message is this: Republicans who for the past 50 years have been the main force to push back hard on communism, they've surrendered to the communists. They've surrendered. Mike Johnson surrendered to the communists, to the ex-communists, to the wannabe communists. Mike Johnson surrendered. Donald Trump surrendered a long time ago to Vladimir Putin. Surrendered to Xi a long time ago. He has nothing but praise for Xi, for Kim Jong-un, these communist leaders, Mika. And that is a message that Xi is receiving loud and clear, that it's not just Donald Trump now. It is the Republican Party. Once the bulwark against communist aggression, it is the Republican Party, Ronald Reagan's old party, that is now collapsed.
It's completely gone, and this is a terrifying inflection point.
It is.
And for anybody who doesn't take it seriously or think the election doesn't matter or says, oh, he's not serious, you're out of your mind at this point. No. You have to look at what's happening. You also, I mean, if you read the judge's judgment in the civil fraud trial, it talks about Trump's behavior not just being bad, not just being impossible to stop, being pathological. And so you have to ask the question, what is going on here? He's absolutely doing something for himself or for Putin. It is the opposite of patriotism. And opposite of dedication to this country.
A terrifying inflection point. And if you don't believe us, well, you're out of your mind and you're delusional, as Joe says, which is awesome funny, man. There are just some words that hit different when a liberal propagandist uses them. Obviously, delusional is one of those words. I never get tired of it. But come on, the guy can't even say Mike Johnson's name without trying to demean the guy by his height. It's poor bunch of 13-year-olds or something. I didn't even know the guy's short. Apparently he's short. Who cares? No one reasonable cares. But these people, they're not reasonable and they are not serious people. I have to give him credit though. I do appreciate the confusion on his face that he just could not control when he realizes that he is now part of the party that's pushing unconditioned, uncontrolled, unfettered war. Just because they're told to. I mean, it's that simple. And Republicans, they're the ones saying, hey, we just want to put some strings on these blank checks and really nothing major, only at home. We want to secure our border at the same time we secure someone else's country, their border. That's reasonable. And as reasonable as that is somehow seen by the people on the left as some sort of bending to the communists, which of course it's not. But here's where we're at. Donald Trump had a town hall a couple nights ago, and he did not say that he wouldn't send any more money to Ukraine. All he said was that he won't blindly commit to spending taxpayer money on foreign wars. There's no more blind commitment, is all he said. And apparently it's the new allegiance test for the left. You know, they used to ask him daily in every possible way they could to denounce white supremacy. Do you denounce white supremacy? Which of course he did many, many, many times. But the sliding scale of propaganda always found a way to impugn whatever answer he gave, right? Well, apparently the focus groups have spoken and have told them that their new allegiance question has got to be something about Ukraine. And again, the sliding scale, apparently the answer, I want everyone to stop dying, is just not acceptable. And just listen to how these people have been trained to think, right? Mika said that not promising, bless her heart, man, poor Mika, but she said not promising to blindly fund a foreign war is a betrayal to America. Apparently, according to her, the only way to be a patriotic American is to promote the killings of as many Eastern Europeans as you possibly can. And I don't think she knows this, but Ukraine is not even a NATO ally, by the way. I think we're all clear on that here. But now everything is Russia, Russia, Russia. Just look at what Hillary Clinton has done, man. Look at what she has started. Everything is Russia. Even questioning Joe Biden's alleged corruptions now makes you a Russian stooge.
Not only is there no evidence of any wrongdoing by President Biden, but it now appears as if the House Republican majority is being used by Russia to interfere in the 2024 election on behalf of Donald Trump. If they continue with this investigation, they are simply doing the work of Vladimir Putin to help Donald Trump win an election in November. That's where we are.
That guy. Come on, Connecticut. What the hell are you thinking with this guy? You got this guy, and you got Stolen Valor Senator Blumenthal, who actually looks pretty reasonable in comparison to this guy. I mean, now that I've actually said that, Blumenthal looks like Reagan compared to this guy, but come on, get rid of this dude, Connecticut. But he says investigating how Joe Biden became a multimillionaire while making $175,000 a year and simultaneously being literally one of the stupidest humans to ever walk the planet, is now doing the bidding of Putin to help Donald Trump win an election, and not their actual constitutional duty to find out how the president's junkie son becomes an Eastern European energy baron at the same time he was also a Chinese financier, all while expensing his membership to a sex club that he got banned from for being too freaking creepy. That's not an inquiring minds just want to know type thing. That's Kremlin puppetry 101. And again, I'm telling you, these people, they cannot be serious. They depend only on the fact that most people just believe what they're told. And people will believe what they're told. But here is the absolute, actual truth about Kremlin puppetry. Putin gave a Russian interview recently saying that he actually prefers Joe Biden because he's predictable, which is also known as an easy mark. Now, of course, the American media is saying that Putin's a spy master who's smarter than most Americans and he's just using reverse psychology. I say that they're not wrong, but both things can be absolutely true. He prefers Joe, and he's a smart spy master who's smarter than the most low information American voters. Both things are true, I believe. And his belief that Trump is unpredictable could actually explain why he never flexed his military muscle while Trump was in office, which he did under Bush. He did under Obama, and of course he's doing again right now. To that, the media says that doesn't make any sense. He helps Trump get elected, which of course, in just the latest conspiracy theory come true, we now know that that's not even true either. CIA intelligence showed that he also preferred Hillary Clinton for the same reasons, predictable, and he's an easy mark, or she's an easy mark.
Thankfully, Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger have made great progress, and Mike joins us now. Mike, tell us what this new cooking the books situation really is all about.
Sure, Jesse, it's good to be with you. Well, I think some people wonder if this is old news or maybe if this has been reported. I want to assure you that it has not been reported until now. I can also assure you that there are current members of the House Intelligence Committee that are unaware of a 50-page report that the CIA is currently hiding at its headquarters. There may be other copies elsewhere, but there is a top-secret copy at the CIA proving without a doubt, according to our sources, which are multiple credible sources, that Russia, in fact, favored Hillary Clinton, not Donald Trump, in 2016, that they used the Steele memo, the infamous political document commissioned by the Hillary Clinton campaign, to cook the intelligence, as they said, for the early January 2017 intelligence community assessment claiming that the Russians favored Trump falsely, that relied on the Steele memo. That 50-page report continues to exist. It likely exists with the other intelligence information, including potentially raw intelligence documents, showing that the evidence was very strongly on the side, the best evidence was on the side that the Russians favored Clinton for the continuity and stability, that they were concerned about Trump for being erratic and being an unknown quantity, and that the quality of the evidence that contradicted that was much lower, and that Brennan's people manipulated the sourcing, so to speak, the quality ranking given to the sources to come up with really the opposite outcome of what the truth was.
Man, if only we had seen this possibility here, man. How did no one see this coming? And really, who's the conspiracy theorist here? Is it us? Or is it the media that just keeps rebranding and rehashing the same lazy Russian collusion thing, right? How many different ways can they possibly tell us that Trump and Putin love each other, and that all things that don't jive with that, anything that's not exactly what a Democrat tells you, is democracy-hating, Russia-loving, Trump-empowering evil? I mean, how the hell are we still stuck in this freaking episode, right? Luckily, something happened on Fox, something you'll never ever see on any liberal network, because of course Trump is just too dangerous to platform for any network other than Fox apparently. But Fox actually asked him, what is your policy? And could you please just explain it?
How you doing, Mr. President?
Hi, Kelly.
One of the many great things you did in your first term was put America first. One of the many, many great things you did. That isn't the case in the last few years, which is evident with the unnecessary billions of dollars in foreign aid we have given specifically to Ukraine. So what is going to be the solution to fix all of that spending?
Thank you very much, Kelly. Appreciate it. I like that question. I like this guy, I can tell. But he's a man of common sense. I'm a man of common sense. You know, they say you're conservative, you're liberal, you're this, you're that. No, we're people of common sense. We need borders. We don't want to give foreign aid to countries that hate us. I mean, we're giving foreign aid to countries that hate us. If you look at the numbers in terms of the billions and even trillions of dollars that we give to foreign aid, and yet we don't protect our own border. We don't protect our own military. We have the greatest, you know, I knocked out ISIS. Everyone said it would take 4 years. It took me 3 months to knock out, totally decimate ISIS. We took out Soleimani. We took out al-Baghdadi. We did a job like nobody's ever done.
So you wouldn't be in favor of giving $60 billion more for Ukraine? Because they said without that money, Ukraine will definitely lose the war, which would then empower Vladimir Putin and endanger our allies.
And I guess the thing that bothers me most, it would have never happened if I were president.
Well, it did happen, so what are you going to do about it?
But it would have never happened. Putin would have never done it for two reasons. Number one, I said, don't do it. He would never have done it. And the other reason was oil prices were low. At $40 a barrel, it doesn't work.
What would you
At $100 a barrel, he made a fortune during this war. So what I would do is...
This is absolutely a really, really great point, right? You're not going to see much on the media seriously talk about this. They'll sneak it in the daytime when all the mush brains are watching The View. But here's the truth. The sanctions that we put on have only made Russia stronger. They've only made them more economically healthy. And one of the things that Russia's doing is making an absolute fortune on oil. Rarely gets reported, but Russia is selling 1.27 million barrels of oil a day to India at a discounted price. And Trump's right. If the world oil prices weren't sent so out of whack by bad liberal policy, like worldwide, obviously, then there would be no need and there would be no money to be made selling discounted oil. But yet another unforeseen consequence to bad policy.
Russia is richer than ever before. Last year's budget was $320 billion. About a third of which spent on its invasion of Ukraine. Sanctions were meant to dent oil paying for war, but instead India has stepped in and is now buying 13 times more Russian crude oil than before the war, worth $37 billion last year, says one estimate exclusively given to CNN. India buying Russian crude isn't sanctioned, but is buying so much, Russia might need to dodge some sanctions to ship it all. We asked an artificial intelligence firm, Winwood, to analyse all global shipping last year for direct shipments between Russia and India, and they found a huge 588. A separate analysis by Polestar Global for CNN revealed over 200 other ships that left Russia last year and did a ship-to-ship transfer off the Greek coast to another boat that then went on to India.
Ship-to-ship transfers are done legally, but they're also used as an illicit tactic to evade sanctions, to sort of try and confuse the authorities as to where this oil is coming from and who's buying it at the end of the day.
India says these shipments fuel its economy without raising global prices by competing with the West for Middle Eastern oil. But there's a complication for the West here, as India refines the oil and sells those products on. And the biggest buyer of products from Russian crude last year, according to exclusive new data obtained by CNN, the United States, over $1 billion worth from India. Way more if you add what US allies, also imposing sanctions on Russia, also import.
So we've seen an increase in 2023 of 44% of oil products that are being made from Russian crude oil flowing into those countries that impose sanctions on Russia, such as the US, UK and EU.
Pretty amazing stuff, man, when you really look at the whole picture, right? Something I think most people can agree that Joe Biden just really isn't capable of doing anymore. Trump, on the other hand, he seems to have a pretty strong grasp on what is really actually going on.
So what I would do is, first thing I get on the phone is with the European nations who are in for 25% of what we're in. We're in for over $200 billion. They're in for $35 billion.
We spent about $100 billion so far, but it will be 160.
It's a difference of $150 billion. They've got to start paying up. You know, it affects them much more than it affects us. We have an ocean in between us. They don't have that ocean in between. They have to start paying up. And you know why they haven't paid? Because nobody asked him. Biden doesn't call. Does Biden lie awake at night, sleeping, cursing? He turns for another reason, not for the reason we're talking about. Sweating, saying, we got to get more. We've got to get them to pay up because there's $150 billion difference. I feel very bad. Remember this. You're really up against a war machine in Russia. Russia, what they do? They defeated Hitler. They defeated Napoleon. You know, they're a war machine. They're a much bigger country. Orban, who I think is a fantastic guy. A lot of people don't like him because he's a little bit on the tough side. He is the prime minister of Hungary. And he said, and he came out very strongly, they asked him, what's going on? The whole world is collapsing. He said, if the United States elects Donald Trump, it'll all end. Everybody was afraid of Donald Trump. It'll all end. And I believe that's true.
I can hear the left now just like, oh, he's praising Putin, he's praising Russia. We told you. But the guy's absolutely right. Russia is a war machine. They will just keep throwing bodies, just keep throwing weapons at the thing until it all grinds to some sort of bloody conclusion where no one really wins, but no one really lost either. I mean, they will not stop. And reports show, and I hope it's not true, but reports show that Ukraine is actually currently drafting guys older than me, much, much older than me. And I'm not sure Trump has, quite the magic that Orbán believes, but here's what Orbán actually believes.
Biztos vagyok benne, ha Trump elnök úr lenne az elnök, ma semmilyen háború nem sújtaná Ukrajnát és Európát, térjen vissza elnök úr, és tegyen adjá ismét Amerikát, és hozzon nekünk békét.
You got to remember, the left promised us that we were laughed at all over the world and that they were the adults in the room and would save the world through American leadership, right? Anyone who's paying attention knows that that could not be any farther from true. It is so false that I can't imagine that anyone in the world still actually believes it, right? And I'm not sure that Trump quite has the magic that these other world leaders believe, but it's interesting to see, man, just how invested the world really is in the fate of America. And I'll say, regardless of Trump's magic or whatever they believe, it would be a dramatic change. I mean, the man definitely seems to have a pretty good grasp on what is really happening, why it's happening, and what may actually be necessary to stop it, It's a shame, honestly, that the left will never, ever allow him to debate Joe Biden. But that's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.